Welcome to Player Exchange, exclusively on Athlazon. Please like, comment, share, all that good stuff as usual. Today, well, before I do that, that's Big Merle right there as always, the money man. You know, he kind of tired. He out there shoveling all that snow, getting all that money. You know what I mean? Y'all need snow removal, salt, and all that big stuff. You know, holla at Merle, slide his DMs. Be careful sliding his DMs too, man. We don't want no trouble. I'm Steph. We your hosts. Today we got a special treat. The owner of this here establishment, Petty Cash, that's 20050 Livernois, Detroit, Michigan, 48221. Listen, this the sexiest, nicest spot in the D. Good dinner, good brunch. The brunch is amazing. But, you know, it's classy in here, so come on a date, come after work, you know, that type of vibe. But the man here with me today, 8 years in the league, NFL, played at Central Michigan, left Central, and then went to Howard. So we got an HBCU alum. And he played at Renaissance right here at the crib. Give y'all a round Bartell. What's going on, bro?
I appreciate you guys having me, man. Chilling. It's cold winter day.
Yeah, man. It's January 14th, 2024 in Detroit. You know, the only good thing about today is the Lions in the playoff game. First time since I was, 7 years old, something like that. It's crazy.
I got to know, man, fresh out the gate, man, you know, you played for the Rams, played for the Lions. Who you going for today?
Man, I'm a homer through and through. It's tough, you know. I spent 7 years with the Rams. Know a lot of people still in the organization. But, you know, I got to pick the home team, man. We've been waiting on this moment for a long time. It's 30 years, first home playoff game at Ford Field. So, you know, I want to see – I want something special for the city. It's a special time for the city. So I want the Lions to win, but I want a close game.
Yeah, I could definitely see it going that way, man. Matthew Stafford coming back. What you think about that stuff, man?
I'm in Ross St. Brown have a big game today because LaPorta not playing, I don't think, right?
Yeah, he's playing.
He's playing?
Yeah, he's playing.
He wasn't on my trying to put my little parlay together,
He's
man.
going to try to thug it out. He's gonna give it a go, so.
Yeah, but, you know, he been hot all season.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think LaPorta, not LaPorta, but I'm around St. Brown have a big game. I think Jameson get off today.
Okay.
I think he get off today. Because if he could just get in any space, we good. Kyron Williams, if you watch the Rams run us the ball so well. I know we talk about Cooper Kupp, and I'm going to mess your name up, but Pukanuka.
Yeah, Pukanu, Pikachu, something like that. Yeah, the Rams, you know, they're nice, man. You know, Stafford's playing at home. So, you know, this isn't an uncomfortable environment for him. You know, they got a lot of weapons in the Lions secondary. You know, it's a weak spot for us. But, you know, hopefully Jared Goff gets it done. We got a lot of weapons ourselves, so we'll see what happens.
Well, take us back a little bit. Let's start with Little League, man. You play PAL? Who you play for?
I really didn't grow up playing football, man. I was playing football on the street, man. I grew up hooping a lot. No PAL football for me, man. I was a straight up basketball player till about 10th grade. I didn't start playing football, organized football, to 10th grade.
That's crazy because Renaissance is known for being a big basketball school. Renaissance is not known for football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, when I got there, Renaissance wasn't known for either. You know, so we kind of, you know, we're one of the first teams to kind of put us on the map football wise. We went, I think, 10-2 my senior year. Went to the state semis. We had a group of guys. I graduated in 2000, so we had the '98 class. Kind of really put us on the map. That was their first year in the city playoffs and the state playoffs, I believe. They sent a lot of guys to school out of that class. Like 8 or 9 guys went D1 that year. So that kind of opened my eyes to, you know, this is a legit program, and you know, kind of led the path for me to want to get involved in the program and play football. Because, like I said, I grew up hooping. Only football I played was in the streets.
We talk about this all the time on this platform. All you hoopers, it's very hard to make it to the league.
Yeah.
But if you can hoop and you ain't scared to hit, get your behind on the field, man. There's money out there, especially now, NIL and everything else. It's chicken out there for you, man.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I was coming out right about now. I have a lot more money, but you know, it's good to see the player empowerment, the money that's out there flowing to guys. It gives guys a lot more opportunities and put them in better positions where, you know, they can't be used. So, you know, I'm all for everything that's going on right now.
How did you start playing football if you didn't start till 10th grade? Who got you on the field? What got you on the field?
My ex-wife. She was a cheerleader, man. You know, she kind of encouraged me to play. It was an opportunity to impress her. So, you know, and then, you know, guys in the school, everybody knew I was a really good athlete. So guys in the school was trying to, you know, get me to play. The coaches were trying to get me to come out, and I decided to, you know, make a go of it. Started on JV. First game, took a pick back to the crib. Had a really good JV year. They moved me up to varsity. I didn't get any burn, but, you know, kind of started right there.
You play any offense in high school too?
I played both sides of the ball, wide receiver and free safety. So, you know, yeah, I was pretty versatile. You know, back in those days, everybody was going both ways for the most part. You know, now football has become so specialized with you know, 7-on-7 pass camps and all those things, and guys really only play. A lot of guys play one side of the ball, but you know, back in those days, if you played corner, you were playing receiver, linebacker, or something. So I played both sides.
So what do you think about the athletes nowadays just trying to stick to one position?
Man, if you're a football player, play ball, man. I'm not for the one position thing. You know, you see a guy like Travis Hunter being able to show off his skill set. Going to Colorado, the more you could do, right? The more you could do, the more marketable it makes you, the more money it can make you, the more opportunities it brings you. And if you really do it at a high level, you know, the ultimate goal is to win. You can help your team win. So, you know, I love seeing guys show the athleticism and show the smarts to be able to play both sides of the ball. So, you know, the time it takes to actually learn a position and master that position, to be able to do it at a high level and do it at another position, like, it's, you know, it's unheard of. Only special guys can do that. So see somebody like Travis Hunter doing, I think it's a recruiting chip too. So you got guys coming out of high school. You know, if you see programs that's willing to give you the opportunity to play both ways, why not do it?
They just never could find a spot for D. Hester.
Yeah, but even somebody like Devin Hester was such a good athlete. He really wasn't great on both sides of the ball. Like, when you look at guys that's great on both sides of the ball, you think like a Champ Bailey, Charles Woodson, or like I said, Travis Hunter, who's in that mode. You know, so Devin Hester was a little raw as a DB. You know, great return guy, pretty good wide receiver. But as a DB, you know, he was a little raw. But those other guys, they were like really locked in on both sides.
So you played against D. Hester, right?
Yeah. Man, I was part of his coming out party. We played him on Monday Night Football his rookie year. I think he took two kicks back on us. Yeah, we was in St. Louis, Monday Night Football, man. He took 2 back on us, man. I think I'm actually in the film, like, slowing down on purpose. Like, damn, I ain't about to catch dude. Yeah.
Because you ran, what, a 4.37?
Yep, 4.37.
4.37 still, because that's fast, bro. 4.3 anything is flying.
Yeah.
But that dude was like something else, man.
I heard he said he eased up.
Yeah, I eased up. You know, I got a lot of good film out there hawking dudes, but, you know, D. Hester was something else, man. You know, Hall of Fame guy, man. Had a great career, you know, so shout out to him.
How many offers did you have coming out of Renaissance?
Man, it was crazy. Probably had like 8 or 9. I really didn't even want to go D1. I'm from, like, when I say I'm from Detroit, I'm like really from Detroit. You know, I grew up like, you know, if you got a job at the plant or got to go to college and you know, play a couple of years and come home and get a good job, you know, that was a win. So, you know, so the thought of like just going to big Division I football really didn't hit for me like that, because I didn't see a lot of guys doing that from my neighborhood anyway. So, you know, I really was trying to go to black colleges. Like, I wasn't heavily recruited because my junior year, I missed a lot of time because I hurt my knee. That summer going into my senior year, I went to all the camps and I blew up at the camps. So I was getting like offers from like MAC schools. My first offer was actually from Ivy League school, Cornell. But, you know, I was really like, you know, I wanted to go to black college. So I would like videotape my, you know, this is how long ago this was. We used to get the VHS recorders and put 2 VCRs together, and every Saturday, because, you know, we played on Friday, so every Saturday me and my guys would make our highlight tapes. So I would send them around the colleges. And then more offers started coming in. I had an offer from Michigan, really wanted to go to Michigan State, thought I was going to go there, got in some trouble. But ended up going to Central because I went on the visit. Mike DeBoer was the OC coming over from University of Michigan at the time. They had really good facilities. And to be quite honest, because I was so green, In terms of football, only having played like 2 years at that point, or 2 or 3 years at that point, I really didn't know how good I was. So, you know, you go to these big camps and stuff, and you give guys a lot more credit than what they really deserve. Because, you know, you coming from Detroit, a smaller school. I didn't go to a football powerhouse, so I knew I was good, but sometimes you got to amp yourself up, and you got to have people in your corner that tell you that you can be great. Because if not, you know, you'll make a decision like I made to go to Central when in actuality I probably should have went to a bigger school because I could compete with them.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Playing the MAC, he played at Eastern. I was at Bowling Green. You at Central, and Vince at Central too. When I got to the MAC or to Bowling Green, it was cats. I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was cats I knew that was better than the cats I knew at Michigan and the Ohio States of the world and stuff. And they all had these different weird stories of how they ended up where they was at. My roommate was like defensive rookie of the year or freshman of the year. And he played at, what was that, Miami?
Ohio.
Miami Northern. What's that school in Miami?
Oh, Miami. Okay, yeah. Okay, I got
Miami
you.
Northwest.
Northwestern.
Yeah,
Green football powerhouse.
Yeah, he was like, bro, I didn't play to my senior year. And then he started naming everybody who was in front of him. They was all the starters at the U at Florida State. I'm like, dog, they didn't even see you, bro.
You know, and confidence is everything, man. At that age, like I said, that you need, you know, it's a delicate balance, right? Because you don't want people to tell you how great you are, you know, because that can go to your head, but you also need people that can tell you how great you can be. Yeah. So, you know, you have that confidence to, like I said, to better yourself and say, I'm going to go to a bigger school. You know, I didn't do that, but thankfully it worked out for me. But, you know, the further I got along my career, and once you step on the field and you start playing these guys, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I could compete with dude. He ain't, you know, he might be number one, but there's not much difference between me and him.
When did it click for you that you could compete with those guys? Like what year was it?
Man, my freshman camp, my freshman camp. When I got to school, some of the plays I was making at camp, because they had me as safety at the time, right? I was coming out of high school, I was free safety. They pigeonholed me as safety in college, and during camp, I was just making some plays, and I was like, okay. I started to see, like, I got in the weight room, really got in the meal program and started seeing those games in the weight room, seeing how I stacked up against guys, and I redshirted. So I had a lot of time to just, like, practice and, like, really hone my craft. And then, you know, on Saturdays, you see the competition. You, like, you know, you see it up close and personal. You're like, okay, I stack up with these guys. You know, I can compete. So it really started to click my freshman year once I got on campus and I started making plays.
How many years you say at Central?
I was at Central for 3 years. Redshirted my true freshman year, started my redshirt freshman year, redshirt sophomore year.
You go to Howard, you kind of fulfilled your dream of playing at the HBCU, or going to a HBCU. What was the reason for you going to Howard?
Man, it was multiple reasons. One was, you know, I was getting in trouble. You know, I was in Mount Pleasant, you know, coming from Detroit, man. Like, the only white people I've been around is, like, you know, a couple of cats I played basketball with and some high school teachers. You know, I ain't never been around, you know, white people in that type of space and environment. And quite frankly, they had never been around black people. You know, you go into class with white people who's only seen black people on television. So it was culture shock for me. Literally, I mean, I got arrested like 9, 10 times in the span of 2 years, like for nothing, like fighting. Well, I wouldn't say that was nothing, but fighting. You know, a lot of driving while blacks. You know, that drive home from Mount Pleasant, Detroit used to be hell, bro. Getting a lot of stuff. So that was one thing. And then on the football field, man, just, you know, just not, you know, I was starting, I was making plays, I was doing really well, I was making a name for myself in the MAC conference, but I just did not like the head coach of the board, man. I had injured my shoulder, so I separated my AC joint. It was so bad I wouldn't practice during the week. Literally, I would not practice. I would play on Saturday. They would shoot me up to play on Saturdays. And so, you know, I did that the entire season, thugged it out, didn't complain, performed really well, played. And then after the season, you know, he had this great idea that he wants to do, like, a bench press test for the football team. We literally just ended the season on a Saturday. He calls everybody to go do this gym workout on a Tuesday. And I have a separated shoulder, so of course I can't do it, so I don't show up. Man, this dude calls me and dog cusses me and tells me he'll send my ghetto back to Detroit, and so after that, man, I just lost all respect, and it was over for me. It was over. I can't play for this dude, man. Like I'm never gonna let anybody talk to me like that. I put my body on the line, So I just made a decision, like, man, it's time to go. It's time for me to leave.
Yeah, that culture shock of going to college is rough, especially if you're from a place like Detroit, where when we were young, I saw a statistic that I believe Detroit had the highest black literacy rate in the country. And that's like a byproduct of all of our grandparents that were coming from down south up here to get a better job. You know how that go. But with more money comes more education, right? So our public school system in Michigan was actually pretty good as far as education went. Like, I think Eastern had because Eastern's big teaching school. That's a big degree program up there.
Yep.
But I believe Eastern Michigan State had the highest black population in any PWI.
Okay, I could believe that.
Yeah, that's why if you go to Eastern Michigan, you feel like
you spent a lot of weekends at Michigan State.
Yeah, State, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all had a lot of fun at State. I miss those days, man.
Right.
I know for you at Central, because that's just a hop, skip
right
across.
It was less than an hour, man. I stayed on that highway. But yeah, it was just culture shock, man. Just met a lot of great people. Still talk to some of my guys to this day. But leaving was the best decision for me. Like literally a month after I left school, or a couple of months after I left school, a lot of my guys got into a huge issue. A lot of people got in trouble, man. So a lot of guys I was roommates with. We lived grew up in the dorms together, and even our first off-campus apartments were together. These are like my guys, and they got in a lot of big trouble. So I know, looking back, if I had not left, I would have been there right with them, in the same trouble. So I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't make that decision to leave.
That's literally the reason I did not go to Central. Coach Daniel was calling me in school every day. I'm in high school. I'm like, bro, chill. But I used to be up there all the time, staying with Omari and JK.
Yeah.
And that weekend that happened, and then the way Coach Kelly came in and played them like that, he sent all them boys up there to go talk to the police with no representation, all that. Some of the cats wasn't even there. Dudes lost their whole senior year of college. And back then, them eligibility rules was crazy. And they would not give him that year back.
One of my guys, he just got out of prison not too long ago behind that. So, it was tough, man. We were kids, man, like straight up kids. And, those type of incidents used to happen every weekend. It was just unfortunate that incident happened, and somebody ended up losing their life. And, just the environment we come from, an environment we were put in up in at that school, man. It was real toxic looking back on it, man. So,
Matter of fact, JK became a lawyer because of that.
Attorney,
James King, really attorney, man. He worked for Mike Morris. Now check him out. He a dog.
Yeah, shout out to James King, man.
Yeah.
Good dude.
So getting to Howard, so that's a different culture shock.
Yeah, definitely different.
Because Howard homecomings are legendary. Howard period is legendary.
Yeah, for sure.
How was that?
It was great, man. I packed up my stuff, man. I remember like it was yesterday. I was watching the Miami-Ohio State national championship game. Went to my girl house, watched that, and literally like right after the game, I hit the road, packed up my truck. My mom was in the car behind me. We drove to D.C. She followed me, drove that 8-hour drive to D.C. Got there the first day, man. It was D.C. I fell in love with Chocolate City at a historically black school right in the middle of the city. So it was culture shock again, but in a good way, man. Just going to a place where you see like positive black people, like trying to get it. People that are trying to move forward, get a great education. You get the women. The women were great. Like these are women like you got to come correct and have your stuff together. So that was motivational to like make sure I'm on my stuff. And then the football, football was cool, man. Like we didn't have the facilities, but man, the camaraderie and the brotherhood was there. The grind was there. The way we went in that janky weight room we had, got to it. It was so it made it. I made lifelong friendships at that school, and then the competition, man. Like I literally played with some really, really good football players, man. Like really, really good. Played with pros, played against pros. So it was just like I said before, just realizing, like, man, sometimes we give people way too much credit. It's competition everywhere. It's talent everywhere. And if you have talent, they'll find you. So, Howard was an experience, man. It was a great experience.
Yeah, you can make it from anywhere. If you're good, they're going to find you. My boy Buff played for the Falcons. He little bit younger than us, he went to Howard and got drafted by the Lions.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, y'all two the only two I know of from the D that went to Howard and still made it to the league. But so let's go ahead and go to the league, man. Well, how was – because the Rams were in St. Louis when you got to the Rams, right?
Yep.
How was that?
It was cool. Got drafted in the second round in 2005. When I got there, they had Marshall Faulk was still there, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Orlando Pace. So you walk into the locker room with Hall of Famers. Mike Martz was still the head coach. St. Louis was, it was like being in Detroit, another Midwest city. Wasn't too far from the crib, so I could come home when I needed to. So, but it was tough, man, because we were horrible. I mean, from that standpoint, we were absolutely horrible. Like I said, I came in 2005. They had just came off this run of going to winning the Super Bowl in 2000, going back to the Super Bowl in 2002 and losing. And they had just came off a playoff loss to Seattle in that 2004 season. So I thought, at that time, like, man, like we set up for success. But, those guys that I named earlier, they was at the tail end of their career. And St. Louis just did not draft well, so we didn't have a lot of young talent. So it was rough early on, man.
How was life in the Lou? Like, outside of football,
It was like being in Detroit, man. but St. Louis is a little bit slower, man. A little bit more country. So it's like Detroit 5 years in the past. So we in 2024. St. Louis is still like in 2019 right now.
Playing with those Hall of Fame receivers, man. I'm sure those one-on-ones got interesting, man. You got a welcome to the league moment from one of them?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, Isaac Bruce used to kill me every day, but the great thing about it was it made me better. It made me so much better because I was going against like route runners. I was like two of the best route runners of all time, two Hall of Famers. So you getting that lesson of like leverage, splits, down the distance, all the little tricks in the trade to actually go against like receivers that just are technicians. I mean, these guys are like straight up technicians. And then Ike took me under his. They both did. Torrey did too. Both those guys took me under their wing. They in practice we have bets if they didn't catch a ball or certain things happen. They give me money. I followed their workout routines. Used to work out with Torrey on Mondays, on off days. Isaac used to always give me, I used to sit by him on the bus or plane rides. So I learned a lot from those guys. But yeah, they used to, when I first got there, they baptized me. But then, after a while, that young athleticism started taking over, and I started learning a little bit more, and the matchups became a lot more even.
Yeah, that's got to be like getting a master's, a PhD, and because like you said, them being technicians, they fall in that line to me of like the Marvin Harrisons and stuff of the world.
Absolutely.
Like they get on that inside hip, the outside hip, they routing you up, lining you up first, get you leaning, and then like
all that. Yeah. So going against those guys, like when I finally got my break to like get a chance to start, it was easy. And from there, I just took off. Like I never looked back because I'm seeing literally like two of the best in practice every day. It's not too many guys I'm gonna go against in live action that can do what these guys do. There's only so many Marvin Harrisons out there. There's only so many Reggie Waynes. You're not getting that on Sundays. A lot of times you're getting like bigger receivers, which for me is a much easier matchup than like a shiftier dude like a Torrey Holt or Isaac Bruce. So going against those guys was great, man. And great guys too, man. Just pros showing you how to maneuver through the league, showing you how to take care of yourself, showing you about longevity, and just being like really, really good men, and showing you how to be like real too. There's a lot of fake stuff that goes on the league, and a lot of guys, they compromise who they really are because it's a lot of money involved. But these are guys like they are who they say they are.
Yeah, you also Steven Jackson.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah. Steve came in 2004. A year before me, yeah.
What was them Oklahoma drills like?
Hey, you couldn't touch Steve in practice, man. You couldn't touch him. They put a jersey on Steve. Steve would touch you, but we couldn't touch Steve in practice at all. But yeah, Steve was great, man. He's to me he should be in the Hall of Fame as well. So we'll see what happens there. That's my guy.
When were you able to crack the starting lineup?
I think like the 9th or 10th game, my rookie year. like mid-season. Had my first start against who did we play? Seattle. Started my first game against Seattle Seahawks. At the time, they had Bobby Ingram, who was a veteran. I think he was their best receiver at the time. So yeah, my rookie, like the 8th and 9th game, my rookie year.
What do you think the biggest difference between the college game and NFL game?
Grown men. You playing, NFL. You playing. These guys are feeding their family, man. Like it's real. It's like really real. Like ain't no going back to the dorm and hanging out and all. You guys got mortgages to pay. Private school to pay for, wives. Money to send home to family. Like it's like for real. Like so. College is a little bit more laid back. And then just the amount of time that you spend in an NFL game planning, like what's coming. Like if you really are you really watching your film, studying your keys, and doing what you're supposed to do, like you know what's coming because we spend so much time studying one another. So the level of preparation is just so much different in college, just so much more thorough.
So you leave St. Louis.
I was in St. Louis from 2005 till 2012.
Gotcha.
So I spent 7 years in St. Louis.
And then over there to the Raiders, correct?
Yeah, yep.
Was that with Jamarcus?
No, Jamarcus, no, hell. Carson Palmer was our quarterback when I got to Oakland. Yeah.
Oh, man, y'all got old Carson. After the Bengals, Carson?
No, this was the best Carson Palmer. Those years, Carson played his best football in Oakland and then in Arizona. You got to remember, Carson left Oakland and went to Arizona and went to the playoffs. Right. Hell, I think they went to the NFC championship with Carson.
That's right. I'm always used to seeing him with Ocho and TJ, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, great quarterback, man. Great dude, great quarterback. Oakland was dysfunctional as hell. So it's just good time in the Bay though, but a lot of dysfunction.
Who was your head coach when you were there?
We had Dennis Allen. Allen. He's the head coach of New Orleans Saints right now. Yeah, Dennis Allen was his first year. He was a first-year head coach when I got there. We had a ton of talent, man. We had Carson Palmer, Rolando McClain, that linebacker came out of Alabama. Yeah. Talented dude. We had Michael Huff at safety coming out of Texas. Richard Seymour from New England days, Hall of Famer. It was guys up and down that roster, man. But we just, coaching and just couldn't get right. Raiders curse.
Couldn't get right, man. Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Why do you think that is, though, with the Raiders? Because with that drought in the Raiders, they always, like you said, stacked a lot of talent. Even when they had the Moss years and all that, stacked a lot of talent, but just never could get it right.
I mean, the difference between winning and losing in the NFL is it starts with ownership. It always starts at the top. From the facilities, how much money they want to spend on the facilities, how much money they actually want to spend in free agency, how much money they want to spend in investing in the players, like I said, facilities, the diet, the way you travel. So it starts with ownership and then football management, man. Like, a lot of these guys, like, really just don't know football. The NFL is a buddy-buddy system. So if I've had coaches, hire their college roommates. College roommate never played football, they hire him as a linebacker coach. Like, it is literally like that. Or coaches hiring their sons. Like, so you got guys who are running football organizations and bringing in people that they're comfortable with instead of bringing in people that are the best. So, you start looking at bad ownership, then you're going to see bad football teams. You see teams that are consistently good, look at the ownership. Look at the Patriots. I know that, Tom Brady, but Robert Kraft is a good owner. Look at the Steelers. The Rooneys are great owners. Start looking at the top, and that'll show you what's going on in the football.
Jerry is the top of marketing and advertising in the field, but I guess he, since Jimmy Johnson been gone, he can't get it right neither, man. I can't believe I just got bounced out today. But speaking of that, okay, so you leave the Raiders and come on home. What was the decision in that?
Man, it wasn't a decision I made. So my last year in St. Louis, I was negotiating my third contract, right? So the first game of the year, we're literally negotiating a contract extension, and I break my neck. I'm playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and I break my neck. So
you broke your neck.
Broke my neck.
Jesus.
Broke my neck. Yeah.
And you was gonna keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if I was gonna keep playing at the time, because I had to wear a neck brace for like three or 4 months, and I had to see how it healed. If it healed properly, I was gonna be fine. If it didn't heal properly, I was gonna have to have surgery. And if I was having surgery on my neck, I was calling it quits. It was a wrap. But God being the perfect spiritual being that He is, looked out for me, and I healed up properly. And but at the time, I already knew that they were going to release me, because my head coach at the time, Steve Spagnuolo, had got fired. They brought in Jeff Fisher. I had a high cap number. I was turning 31, so I was on the wrong side of 30 with like a $10 million cap number. I'm like, okay, I'm out of here, whatever. So they ended up releasing me, and my DB coach went to Oakland. So I signed a 1-year deal with Oakland, but because I'm coming off an injury, and because I'm 30, I got an incentive-laden deal. So I signed this deal, and I have bonuses tied to playing time. So first game of the year, what I do, I go hit Antonio Gates, shout out to Tone, and I crack my shoulder in half. So I end up missing the first 7 games of the season. I'm rushing back because I got incentives. So I get back. When I first come back, I couldn't even lift 135 pounds. I rush back, and my first game back is against Baltimore, and I'm going against Anquan Bolden. And you already know how that went. Yeah. So I'm playing injured, and we're losing. So they make the decision that they didn't want to keep me around, because if they kept me around, they was gonna have to give me an extra $1 million. So Reggie McKenzie, the GM, he told me, he was like, look, well, it's not that they didn't want to keep me around. They were going to bench me, because they're like, look, we ain't winning. The owner, Mark Davis, he's looking to cut payroll as much as possible. We're going to sit you down. But Reggie was like, look, I know other teams out there want to sign you, so I can release you, and you can go sign with somebody else. And at the time, I was vested, so if they released me, my contract was going to it was already guaranteed. A portion of the contract was guaranteed. So him releasing me allowed me to double dip. So I was getting paid from Oakland. I got picked up by Detroit, and Detroit was paying me. So he actually did me a favor. He could have just sat on me, and I could have lost $1 million. But he allowed me to get released, and I was ended up getting 2 checks at the same time. So coming home was great.
Right.
I was getting 2 checks in the mail every 2 weeks. But we weren't good. We weren't good. The Lions weren't good at all that year. This was Jim Schwartz. This was the year after they had lost in the playoffs to New Orleans, had a talented team. I mean, it was talent up and down the roster. You had Sue. You had Big Buddy from Auburn, Nick Fairley.
Big Fairley.
You had Big
Somerset
Fairley.
all the time, Big Fairley.
You had Stephen Tulloch. You had DeAndre Levy. You had Chris Houston. You had Louis Delmas. You had Calvin on offense, Matt. Then at running back was a little light. But you had, it was just talent. I mean, Kyle Vanderbosch was here at the time. Yeah. Who else? Man, it was just a ton of talent, but just the most undisciplined team ever, man.
Oh, I know. Delmas was my man. So he went to Western.
Yeah,
all these Florida cats who play in the MAC who be up here, they gonna come home with their friends from Detroit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we be hanging out all the time and all that. And when he got drafted, Dog had went and bought that new, when Jag first dropped that XJ, the new X body style.
Okay. Yeah.
He pulled up on me. I'm like, dog, I see you every night in that car. Like him. Fairley was everywhere. I see Fairley at the strip club every day.
Strip club, man. yeah. But it was, a good, like a lot of good dudes, man. A lot of talented dudes.
Grady was on that team, wasn't he?
Who was that?
Grady
Jackson.
So. I think he might have been.
I think Grady was on. Big Grady. He had played in Green Bay for a long time. He played in the league.
No, he wasn't there that year. Yeah,
Not that year.
Not that year. That was 2000. I'm talking. This was 2012. Yeah,
I know it was like around that time somewhere.
So he may have been right before then. But yeah, man. So coming home was cool, man. It was, I was already at the tail end of my career. I already knew I was making a decision that I was about to hang him up, especially coming off a neck injury, and then to double back and then to crack my shoulder in half. It was like, all right, I've made a lot of money. I'm cool. I get to come home and play. So I'm gonna shut it down after this. So it was cool to come home, especially coming home at that time, because I wasn't young anymore. I was 31, so it allowed me to be here and not be like, wow. Yeah. Like, because if I came when I first got into the league, I'd have been super loose around the city. But it was cool. And I had to spend a lot of time in Detroit because I had left here. I hadn't been home like that since I was in college. So it was good to come home, play in front of your folks, play in front of your people. The Lions games, they were kind of whack, but.
What was your favorite city to play in the league?
I love playing in Seattle. I love playing. We were in the NFC West, so we battled Seattle, San Fran, and Arizona. But it was nothing like playing in Seattle. That weather, that stadium, one of the loudest stadiums in the league. Playing again in Green Bay, the history that comes there. San Francisco was a great place to play in. It was a lot of great places to play, but Seattle probably is number one on my list.
Yeah, so when you knew you were about to dial it down, and this is like for the kids out there and stuff who are watching, because I think it's really important now, especially them getting paid earlier, that financial literacy type of thing, just any game you could give them, or like you said, you was already 31, so your mind state was already, okay, what's my next move?
Yeah, for sure.
How did you know your next move was going to be, being a serial entrepreneur with restaurants of all things?
Restaurants was definitely not in my purview. I'm really real estate is my thing. Even with the restaurant play, it's really a real estate play. So I had gotten into real estate my rookie year. I came from a family of entrepreneurs, hustlers. So I've seen it all my life. My family, I have uncles that own businesses all throughout the city. So that's I'm from that stock. So.
We know the Bartells own pretty much all Illinois.
Yeah. So, I come from that inherently. So, I never looked at. I think one of my advantages was I wasn't a pampered athlete growing up. I didn't have. I wasn't. This prodigy or anything like that. So I never identified myself as an athlete. I always knew that the stuff was going to end one day. So it was never a career to me. It was an experience. Careers don't last 8 or 9 years. That's just an experience. So, I got into real estate from day one, did it every off season, started getting involved in other opportunities off the field, and just set myself up that when it was time to shut it down, that, I was going to be comfortable with shutting it down. And then I didn't just splurge and buy a lot of bull crap too. I wasted money just like any young guy, but I was a little bit more level-headed. So, I would just have to give credit to my upbringing and family to, just realize that one day it's going to end. So, take care of everything you need to take care of before that time comes.
You definitely got to take care of that money, man. You don't want to be out here being bad like some of these athletes I done talked to, man. So, young guys, y'all getting that money, take it from the OG right here, give you all free game, Got 2 restaurants on the Great Street in Livernois. 2, Cuzzo's, Chicken and Waffles. Good chicken and waffles, Then he got Petty Cash right here, man. So, it's always great to see guys from the city having establishments in the city, making it, doing their thing, man. So, y'all could be next, man. You just got to do the right thing, man. Take care of that bread, take care of your family.
And so before we take off, so I know we got to go watch this Lions game. What game or what advice, what would you tell these kids right now getting the money in the NIL deals right now, getting it early, going into college?
Oh, man, just surround yourself with the right people, right? I mean, the chains and all that stuff, man. Like, you're going to look back on that and realize the amount of money you wasted and that you could have put that money somewhere else when you get, of an older age, and you're going to regret, those dumb purchases. So I would say just surround yourself with the right people, man, and really use this as a springboard to the rest of your life. Whether guys are getting NIL and they go professional, or whether guys are getting NIL and they're done after this, just be able to use that as a leg up in life, because to be able to come out of school with, a significant chunk of money, that's a hell of an advantage that these guys have nowadays, and they give them more leverage that, you necessarily don't have to continue to go play football. You could literally make money in college right now and not have to play football again, and still come out of school with millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars and transition to another part of your career and not feel like you're just a football player. Because at the end of the day, football is a tool. It's an ends to the means, means to ends, and use it as such, and don't use it as football shouldn't be the finality. It should not be the highlight of your life. If football becomes the highlight of your life, then, you know, you're missing out on another great portion of life.
Well, I'm glad y'all got that. I hope y'all soaked that up. Like I said, make sure y'all come in and Petty Cash, man. The food is amazing. And if you see Ron, holler at him, man. He got a lot of game for y'all young cats because, you know, he did everything y'all want to do and did it at the highest level. So, me, I'm Steph. That's Merle. And thanks for tuning in to the Player Exchange.